Is 5% a day realistic in trading? Hi, it's Charlie giving you Saturday's video. So it came to light just recently, and you may have seen it on the Shorts channel. That was the clip that was put up. There were claims being made of someone who was trading with, I think it was around about tiny amounts, but that's fine. That's fine. £500 account value, and saying that he was making, around about £30 a day, or £20 to £30 a day in the markets, and sort of making it sound feasible. He said, just £20 to £30 a day. Right, so £30 a day would be 6% per day. But let's forget 6% and let's go with 5%. So do you think 5% a day is realistic? I'm not saying it's not achievable, because if you risk 5% on a trade, then it's quite easy to make 5%. It's also quite easy to therefore lose 5%. And you could risk 2% and make 5% on a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. But the point is it realistic that you could make that per day? That's what the assumption is being made. So let's do some more maths on this. So 5% a day, that would be what? 25% per week. Okay. Which by my estimations is 100% per month, and forget even compounding, but that's 1200% per year. If anyone tells you that you can be making, or that they are making, those sorts of returns, run for the hills. Run away, because it's utter nonsense. Anyone can make money in a single trade and have a great run and make 200% in a trade. We all do that. That's 1 to 2 risk reward, isn't it? Or 1 to 3, or whatever. The point is, this is short-term trading. Can you make those sorts of gains? When you think about it, the greatest traders in the world do not make that kind of return. I speak to numerous brokers. They don't have customers making those kinds of returns. So if people are claiming that, they're talking out of their backside. They're just lying to you, and they're lying to you usually because there's some underlying reason why that might be. You can figure that out for yourself. But if you still want to believe that you can make 5% a day, and I'm not saying that someone couldn't have a good run and make 50% in a shortish period of time, because anyone could do that. But what we're talking about is consistently over time. It's impossible to make that kind of compounded return. If you were making that kind of return, 5% a day, and therefore what we're talking about, 100%, what did we say? 100% per month, then that initial £500 capital, all right, providing you didn't take anything out, by the end of the year would be somewhere around £500,000 by the end of the year. You have to be realistic when it comes to trading, and that sort of stuff is not realistic. Even 1% a day is not really realistic. You get a lot of traders who will aim for that type of average, but it's not, to do 1% a day. There's 22 traded days in a month, so that's 22, or let's call it 20% a month. Now that's it's doable. 250% in a year. There are traders in the Market Wizards books who have achieved that. But again, in the main, it's so highly unlikely. And don't get me wrong, anyone can do. I've done 20% in a month before, and many of you will have done. But it's about consistently. Can you do that every single month? Because if you could, you'd be a multi-billionaire. If it just carried on into, if all right, that's assuming you weren't taking the money out. But it's just highly, highly, highly unlikely. So it's not that it couldn't happen, but again, we have the data. It's unlikely. So see trading as a wealth generation tool, but don't see it as something where with unrealistic expectations. So lower your expectations and you'll be much, much better as a trader, because otherwise, if you have unrealistic expectations, all you're doing is you're setting yourself up for disappointment, because when that 20% a month or 5% a day and 100% a month gains don't materialize, you're going to be disappointed. And please don't buy anything from anyone who's saying that they have the keys to the lock that's going to open up the doorway to you making 5% a day. Run away from it and get on with the normalities of trading. Trade at low risk and have lower expected returns. Remember, even if you made 50% every year from trading, that would put you in the top 0.1% of traders globally. So, have realistic expectations and forget about the nonsense. Have a lovely weekend. Answers and comments below as usual, because it's going to be an interesting one, this one. And I'll see you next week.